Hello, everyone. I'm Riva, and in this video, I'm going to be sharing a theory that I've been working on called World as a Mirror Theory, or WAAM theory, WAAM. And this is something that I have been putting together over time. I've looked at a lot of different self-help, self-development, stuff in psychology, stuff in spirituality, stuff in physics, and all sorts of different things. And I've started to create this like amalgam of information that has turned into WAM theory. And it's not the first to talk about the world being a mirror or this idea, this theory of a mirror being your reality for your external experience. But it is my own unique flavor of it. And I think it's important for us as we all come up with our own understandings of the universe, of our own worlds and realities, that we share, because the more we do, we add pieces to the puzzle for each other. And my hope is that those who might be watching this can use this information in a way that might be helpful and in a way that might make their life experience be a little easier, a little bit more flowy and enjoyable, and at least more understandable. For anyone who's watching, I respect your own beliefs and thoughts on all of this, so just take what resonates, leave the rest. As with every good theory, I think the best way to play with these is to truly experiment and to test things out. A lot of the stuff that I came across in self-development, especially the stuff that was most helpful, I found to be when I actually applied and treated my life as an experiment to see, hey, I don't think I've looked at life this way. I don't think I've practiced life this way. But let me just see if what these people are saying work, and then apply it to my own life. And sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. So I encourage you to be your own scientist and try to experiment with these ideas if you feel called to, and see what, sticks with you. And if nothing else, it's just fun. So this whole WAM theory is my way of understanding how life works for us and how we can uniquely apply our own life's experiences, our perceptions, our reactions in ways that will help serve us and improve our lives and help us to navigate with greater ease. Now, my belief is that our external reality, our external experience in the world is a culmination of our inner beliefs, thoughts, emotions, and experiences from much earlier in life. And that might sound familiar from other people, and it is similar to a lot of other beliefs, but here's where I start to see things a little differently. My understanding is that you go through life and you've picked up all these beliefs and emotions and things. And a lot of us in life, we're not very present with our emotions and our experiences. We kind of either push it down or we ignore it, we disconnect from it, we pretend it's not a part of us, or at least it's something we're not experiencing. And so super disconnect from it. And then we push it into our subconscious mind. And so we may not consciously feel something uncomfortable or experience something uncomfortable, but we've just pushed it into our subconscious. So now it becomes a cycle, a loop, a process of something that's just going to keep running in our lives. And this theory, I think, really helps for if you're someone who's experiencing a lot of the same cycles in life. So say you find certain patterns that you keep repeating. Maybe it's that you're not being respected at work. Maybe it's you're not finding healthy relationships. Maybe it's that you keep finding that people are not treating you the way you want to be treated. Maybe you are feeling lack constantly. You don't have the finances you want to have, and you can't figure out how to break free of this cycle that keeps going and going. And so when you see these cycles, these are what I would say are loops that are running in your subconscious mind, and you're just not aware of them. And so you keep living them out. And the way I see it is that you are the center of a storm of, let's call it a storm of glitter. Like imagine if there's like a hurricane of glitter that's swirling around you. And what each one of the pieces of glitter represents is it's a fractal or a mirror image of you. And so it's like a miniaturized version of you. And it's just that mirror image trying to show you something about yourself, a different angle of yourself, a different angle of your emotions, a different side of who you are. And each of these fractals, these storm of glitter around you, are not going to show up in your life as another you. They're not going to be a literal mirror image of you. What it's going to be is all of these fractals of you will be played out by your experiences with other people in your life. It could be friends, family, significant others, coworkers, strangers. It doesn't matter. But all of the people that you interact with in life are a part of what's helping you to understand who you are on the inside. And the thoughts, the emotions, the beliefs that you've suppressed, the ones that are deep within you, which are a lot of them for many of us, will be cycles that you play out with the people you interact with in life. And I've started to break this down into, there's like degrees of learning. There's degrees of understanding and being educated about yourself. And so the first degree, I believe, is your inner reality. So this would be if you were to sit with your own emotions, your thoughts, your beliefs, and to just understand how you actually feel, which is very challenging for many of us because often we've suppressed what we really feel so deeply that we can't consciously recognize it. We don't even know when we're actually feeling upset or angry until we blow up at someone and explode. And it's like, wow, that was building for a while. And so, well, that's the first degree is great. If you can find and recognize how you feel and who you are and that degree of understanding, then great. You can witness it, and you can either, with meditation, they talk about thoughts and feelings coming up and observing them like clouds floating by in the sky. And that's kind of what we're quote unquote supposed to do. And it's that if we are observant of our feelings, we allow ourselves to process them and experience them, but not be controlled by them. And so a lot of us, though, instead identify as the feeling. So we don't see it as a cloud. We're like, we are the storm, the cloud storm that is like the chaos and anger and frustration, and we don't let go of it, and or we suppress it. So we've either decided this is our identity or we don't want to deal with it. So we may not be able to rely on the first degree of understanding and education for ourselves. The second degree is the people around you and the experiences you have with them and how you feel about those experiences. So your perception of the engagement and interaction you have with someone at a store, at work, at home. They make you angry, sad, frustrated, feel less than, feel like you're not good enough. Those are all teaching you. They're a second degree of relationship away from you. And that's where they start to be the fractals around you. They're no longer just you. It's the mirror images of you trying to show you, you feel angry, you feel anxious, you feel annoyed, you feel less than. And it's that degree of understanding. Those are beliefs that you carry. And those beliefs are what are creating your reality. So you will see experiences and have experiences and a lifestyle where people don't respect you, where people don't treat you the way you want to be treated. And or maybe it's an unhealthy relationship pattern where you don't believe you deserve love. You're afraid of having love maybe. And so you're in very unhealthy relationships, and you just find yourself cycling through unhealthy relationships where people take advantage of you. You're very codependent. You feel like, they don't respect you, but that's just a cycle you keep repeating. But if you recognize it, I feel taken advantage of, I feel like I'm not being given love that I desire, you can start to dig deeper and go, oh, is there another belief that I don't deserve to have love. Like you have to do some digging and some work, but it's in there. There's so much insight and information that you can educate yourself with that second degree of understanding, which is your perception of the experience you have with another individual in your life. Now, the third degree would be something like you observe another person struggling, and so it bothers you that you see that person struggling with this thing. Maybe you observe that someone is not being treated right in a relationship, or someone keeps having unhealthy patterns in their relationship. Or maybe you see that someone else is overworking themselves and doing things for everyone else, but not taking care of themselves, and it bothers you. You'll always know when there's a lesson there for you, something to educate yourself about yourself for, when there's a strong reaction that you have to it, good or bad. It could be something very angry. It makes you angry. It makes you sad. It makes you feel bad. It makes you feel something very triggering, but that's how you know there's something to inform yourself. And that's like that third, you're observing it happening to other people. Now, how do you even get to these different degrees, and when do you see which one? That has a bit more to do with when you start to do the inner work. So if you ultimately get to a stage where you can observe how you're feeling and detach from the feeling, not suppress it, not go, oh, well, this is a bad feeling, I don't want to have that feeling, but just feel it, process it, and then let it go, then you will get to a stage where you don't have to have the repeating cycles and the repeating recurrences of things happening in your life because of the subconscious beliefs and everything else, because it's no longer been suppressed down there. It's free to move up to your conscious mind, and you're just saying, okay, I'm done with that story. I'm done with that feeling. I'm done with that experience. But when you don't do that, but you're starting to do the work and you're like, I know there's something here. I know that there's some belief, something going on where I'm creating this constant cycle. And the way you create it, because I want to touch on this too, because some people might think it's a little bit too esoteric to like go, oh, well, your thoughts create your reality. I mean, they kind of do, because every time someone innovates, someone creates a new idea, it's a thought, and then they make it a thing. But at the same time, also, when I'm talking about these cycles and these loops and how you're creating them with your subconscious mind, it's both an energetic thing, a belief system thing, and an actual physical thing. Your subconscious beliefs translate to how you show up in the world. So if you believe that you don't deserve to be treated well, or that people don't respect you, or you haven't done anything to deserve respect, or all of the things, then what you will do is you may show up very downtrodden. You might show up your head very low, and you're very hunched, and you don't talk very loud, and you don't really speak your mind, or you don't think what you believe or what you say is valuable, so you won't say it. And so people may not see you as a leader, as someone who's deserving of, I'm not saying you don't deserve it because of those things. I'm saying generally everyone acts with some level of psychology, and it's natural for someone to perceive another person as maybe not leadership material if they're very head hung low, they're not very vocal, they're not very interactive, and they just keep to themselves and they don't ever express what they think. So, but if your subconscious mind is very in that place, then you'll show up a certain way. Your voice will sound a certain way. Your actions will be in a certain way that line up with, you're not a leader. You're not someone who people go to who think can do something. And so they may not respect you as much. And again, I don't agree that they shouldn't respect you, but that's what you're asking of people with your actions and your behaviors. People very much read each other's behaviors. And so if your tone is a certain way, they will act a certain way towards you or perceive you a certain way. And so it's truly your subconscious that causes you to be a certain way, and that translates to different cycles playing out. So that's the same with the unhealthy relationship, where a person keeps finding themselves being used or abused, and there's no judgment, but it's that if they don't believe they deserve better at a subconscious level, they will repeatedly go to partners who treat them badly. They will constantly accept that relationship style for longer than a person who had a belief system that they do deserve better, that they do deserve to be treated a certain way, and that's very good and healthy. And so that person would walk away much quicker than the person with the belief system that they don't deserve to have a healthy relationship. And so that will translate to different behaviors for those two different people. And so that person who doesn't believe they deserve a healthy relationship will constantly cycle through those kinds of partners until they choose to think and behave a different way, which is can be very, for all of these things, whether it's lack, whether it's disrespect, whatever you're feeling, you can deal with it at the subconscious. There's a couple ways. One is the subconscious level. So you can do subconscious reprogramming with things like, people talk about affirmations. They're one way. I don't think they're the main way. I think they contribute, but I think things like NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, and things like emotional freedom techniques, things like self-hypnosis. These are all great tools to use there's so many more, but they're great tools to use to work on your subconscious mind to change those beliefs. But in order to change those beliefs, you have to be able to witness them and acknowledge that those beliefs exist in you, because so many people, think about how many people out there do not realize that the way they're behaving or their actions are leading to the types of, like, they don't realize they're in an unhealthy relationship until far too long. They don't realize that they are being disrespected by their coworkers, or they don't realize that they are doing things that are causing them to be in lack. And so it's so easy to start to address them once you know what the issues are or what your true inner beliefs are. So that's when looking at the different degrees of first, second, third degree of education about yourself really comes into play. And that all relies on those different degrees are represented by the different little pieces of glitter or fractals that are swirling around you in your life experience. The ones that are going to get the closest to you are the most relevant to your current deepest belief systems, because that's going to show you what your current beliefs are. And what I find has happened is, when you start to own and identify that a belief exists inside of you through a degree of, maybe you notice that people treat you a certain way and it may make you feel bad or whatever. When you notice that and you go, wow, I inherently am feeling bad about myself, then you can start to change your subconscious mind and let that belief go and start to address it in ways that are healthier, and affirm that you do believe in yourself. You do deserve to be treated well and all of those things. And then what you'll start to see is it will then float, the whole experience will float away from you like another degree away from you. So instead of having a lot of people treat you in ways that make you feel bad about yourself, what'll happen is that will float further away. And now suddenly you'll see people who are dealing with that issue. You'll start to be able to observe when someone's in an unhealthy relationship. You'll start to observe, wow, the friend of a friend is dealing with that same issue, or your significant other's friend is dealing with this thing, or a distant family member is dealing with this thing. And it'll start to get further away from you as you address the issue in yourself more and more. If you're still seeing it appear, it means there's still something there for you to learn, but because it'll still bother you. Usually you'll start to see it further away and you'll go, oh, that's so bad. Like, I know what that's like. I know, a lot of it comes through like as an empathy of like, I know how much that sucks. I want to help that person. And by all means, go help the person. I'm not telling you don't help the person, but if you want to help everybody, work on that for yourself too, and recognize there is a sliver of something there where maybe you still haven't dealt with that demon, that ghost, that issue inside of yourself. I'm not saying you're broken. I'm not saying you need to be healed all the time, but it's a matter of, do you want your life experience to be different? You don't have to call it healing, call it transformation. Like, it's a matter of perspective and how you look at this. It's not about fixing who you are. You're not broken. You are perfect. But If you would like a different experience, that's okay. You can have a different experience. You just have to work on understanding why your experience is the way it is, the beliefs that are contributing to that, and then address them, change them, and then be a different way, believe different things, and then have a different life experience. So as you address the issues inside of you, you will find that the play that's playing those issues out in front of you will get further and further and further away from you till you don't see them anymore. And that's when you know you have overcome a particular issue, a particular demon, a particular whatever it is that you're trying to deal with. And so my encouragement for people is just to like play with this and experiment with this and see if this kind of plays out for you, and if this pattern plays out for you, and if you're noticing that. And then you start to see like the world really as a mirror. And to me it's like a whole storm of all of these different pieces of you, and you having the experience and learning all of these different pieces of you depending on who you interact with or what experiences you have. And it's, again, not to downplay the individuals in your life. They're very valuable, important people having their own experiences with these bazillion fractals of who they are around themselves, circulating them. And if you're very close with people, you may very likely experience similar storms around you and see the same kinds of personalities in people. And so you can actually help each other a little bit there, because you can you can dig into your experiences and they can dig into theirs, and you can bring it together and try to understand it together. But it's a lot of it's about how you use the world as a mirror to inform and educate you about your own inner reality, and how that translates to what's creating your experience in life. And then how you, if you desire to change it, you can go about changing it. So I think I will leave it at that for now. I hope you've enjoyed this. This is a mini series, so you'll start to see more of these. And I hope you enjoy the other videos. Take care.